Okay, finally, we can have a very quick look at the kunpeng big data solution designed by Huawei.
To begin with, the kunpeng big data solution is only a small part of the kunpeng ecosystem. And talking about kunpeng ecosystem, we need to know that it is a full-stack infrastructure built up based on the fundamental hardware up to the software, the cloud computing services, and even different application scenarios. And the key point of kunpeng ecosystem is that the processor uses ARM architecture, and all the services provided by kunpeng ecosystem is on the cloud. So there is a question: why do we need kunpeng ecosystem? Basically, there are two main reasons. Firstly, the smartphone devices are replacing traditional PCs. And we all know that almost all smart mobile terminals are constructed based on ARM architecture, right? That is why Huawei has been putting great efforts in the development of ARM architecture devices and processors. Secondly, the world is moving towards an era of connecting everything to the internet. So we need much higher computing power to deal with the massive data more efficiently. And kunpeng ecosystem provides a better performance and higher computing power for enterprises all over the world. Here, we can have a look at the overall architecture of the kunpeng computing industry. Just as we mentioned before, the kunpeng computing industry is a full-stack infrastructure built up from the very basic processors to the cloud services and applications. As we can see, the bottom layer consists of the processors, chips, and servers that are designed by Huawei based on the ARM architecture. And they can provide high concurrency to improve the computing power. And moreover, kunpeng ecosystem can be deployed on OpenEULA operation system designed by Huawei, as well as on some other operation systems like Ubuntu or CentOS, and it supports different middleware and databases, including Dells DB, which is also designed by Huawei. And thanks to all the hardware and software in the infrastructure, kunpeng ecosystem provides cloud services as ECS, BMS, RDS, DWS to support the upper layer applications in different industries. As for the application scenarios of kunpeng ecosystem, thanks to the support from the new technologies of big data, distributed storage, new databases, native applications, and cloud services, typically it can be used to support the smart government, Bank 4.0, industry internet, 5G, ultra-high-speed interconnection, smart driving, smart manufacturing, smart healthcare, and smart education, etc. We say kunpeng industry is a big ecosystem, and it involves the following several sub-ecosystems for all the participants in this ecosystem. We can offer technical support and also some communities for academic discussion and communication, and also some lectures and empowerment projects for students as well as instructors from the universities all over the world. As for the basic hardware or infrastructures, in 2016, Huawei introduced the first multi-socket ARM CPU called Huawei Kunpeng 916, and also the first self-developed server called Taishan 100. 3 years later, we introduced the first 7nm data center level CPU called Huawei Kunpeng 920, and also a new generation server called Taishan 200. We expect that in the year of 2021, we will have Kunpeng 930, and in 2023, we will have kunpeng 950. Finally, let's jump into the last part of this chapter, which is about the kunpeng big data solution. As mentioned before, kunpeng big data solution is a very special case in the kunpeng computing industry. It provides one-stop, high-performance big data computing and data security capabilities, and adopts the public cloud architecture with storage computing decoupling, ultimate scalability, and highest possible efficiency. To be more specific, the Huawei Big Data Solution contains many cloud services on Huawei Cloud, and in our lectures, we mainly introduce MRS, which stands for MapReduce service. Here you can see a lot of names, and we will introduce them in detail slightly later. This is an overview of MRS, and it is rather comprehensive. If you are interested, please have a look at the materials here. Generally speaking, MRS is developed based on the open source Hadoop ecosystem, so you might be very familiar with many names in MRS like HDFS, MapReduce, Spark, Flink, HBase, Kafka, Flume, Storm, etc. And all of these things will be introduced in detail in our later chapters. Now, we will end up our first chapter by introducing several highlights of MRS. The first highlight is high performance. We mentioned that it leverages Huawei-developed carbon data storage technology, which allows one dataset to apply to multiple scenarios. Carbon data allows faster interactive queries over petabytes of data using advanced column-based storage, index, compression, and encoding techniques to improve computing efficiency. Besides, it supports multi-level indexing, dictionary encoding, pre-aggregation, dynamic partitioning, and quasi real-time data query, and many other features. Secondly, it is easy for optimization and maintenance. In MRS, we can use the visualized web page called MRS Manager to check the running status of the whole cluster. MRS also supports rolling patch upgrade and provides visualized batch release information, as well as one-click batch installation. It also delivers high availability mode, real-time SMS, and email notification on all nodes. Thirdly, it is very secure. We will introduce Kerberos later, and thanks to it, the whole cluster can be deployed in secure mode. And also, we can achieve physical isolation very easily in MRS. Finally, the cost effectiveness. MRS has many billing options and offers great flexibility for purchasing the services. You can choose monthly or yearly billing mode or pay-per-use modes as well. And if you choose pay-per-use, you are only charged when the instance is running. While running, it usually costs around 8 China yuan per hour, or equivalently $1.5 per hour. And when not needed, you can terminate it at any time or just switch it off. Then you will not be charged anymore. Alright, that's all for the first chapter. In this chapter, we mainly introduced the definition of big data, some key concepts of it, some application scenarios of it, some challenges and opportunities in the big data era, and finally, a brief introduction to Huawei's big data solution called MRS.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy all the content in this chapter. Next chapter, we are going to introduce two components, the HDFS, which is the data storage system in Hadoop ecosystem, and Zookeeper, who serves as the collaboration surface for the whole cluster.